No, right, but this was in a proper science magazine as well. Right?
Yeah.
So you can't have a go. This wasn't something on the internet. This was printed in a magazine.
You read it.
Okay, and what was it?
And here comes the filter. It's going to come out nonsense.
Right, well...
You could have Professor Stephen Hawking sitting there whispering stuff in your ear, and it could all be true, but when you said it, gobbledygook.
Well, let's see then. Let's see, right? What they've done another experiment, right?
Yeah.
They've cut somebody's head off, right? And you know how they used to do it in the olden days, where they'd put your head in a stock, cut it off, for whatever reason, right? You've done something wrong, right?
Mm.
And the question that everybody used to talk about in the village was, you know, oh, I made eye contact with it, right? And it was a bit worrying because he was looking at me and he looked fed up and that.
No, he's dead.
So they've put a bit of work into this, and they've done it again somewhere, right? And they've worked out that when the head comes off the body, it stays alive and that for 30 seconds.
Well, no, they don't know that. They can never know that.
No, they did it. They did this experiment.
What's alive? What's alive? But there's loads of issues here. One, no one's experimenting with human beings cutting their head off, Carl. Well, two, no.
So you read this in what? Executioners Monthly?
This is
two, Carl, it's what your definition of alive is. Because you can be alive and have no conscience.
No, but this is where it gets weird, right?
Yeah, this is where it gets weird. You talking about it.
So the head's off, right? Yeah. And what they did was, they chucked a load of questions at it.
All sanctioned by the government.
Yeah, this is all fine.
So the head lands perfectly on the neck and goes, what do you want to know?
And it said,
so they're asking questions, and it's going, do you know what? To be quite honest, I don't answer your question. I'm a little bit annoyed about the execution still.
Well, that was the interesting thing. They said it's about...
No, it's not, it didn't happen, Carl!
Let me hear it.
Oh, don't talk
Let me hear it.
What are you talking about? Who these people round in white coats going, quick, ask it a question, it's bleeding!
Right, so they said for about 25 to 30 seconds, the last 5 seconds it is sort of like, can't be bothered answering them.
Right, but prior to that,
apart from that, they were chucking stuff. I don't think it spoke. I don't think it was like, 2 and 2 is 4 and stuff. It was more, it was to do with blinking.
So blink once if you say yes, blink twice.
So they told it, said, listen, when you die, you're probably not going to be able to talk, because your jaw's going to be on the ground, you're not going to be able to open your mouth. If you do, you'll fall over backwards and hit your head. Now listen, blink 1 for yes and 2 for no. Yeah, right, yeah, not too bad. Yeah, the axe nice and sharp. Yeah,
promise?
You're talking shit again.
You promise to do it? Yes. All right.
Well, yeah. The thing is, they wouldn't be able to do it with you, because if they cut your head off, it would just roll. It would roll away, because it's perfectly spherical. They would go, oh no, there's
it takes about 20 seconds whenever you ask Carl anything for the question to process and for him to start to formulate an answer.
Anyway, if people listening and that, if they learn anything, that's amazing. Just send it in, because
it'll come out gobbledygook when Carl tries to translate it.
Last week, like I just asked, on the show we were talking about the gift that you'd arranged to for your girlfriend.
How long have you been going out with her again?
I think it's about 11 years.
11 years, your life partner, he got a gift when he left his old job of a camera. He didn't even unwrap it, he just passed it on straight away, like passed the parcel to his girlfriend. We were giving him some stick. Everyone, about 90% of people phoning and saying, you are a skinflint, it's awful. How did it go down?
She loved it.
Did you tell her?
Did she love it?
Yeah, I think she likes it,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't really have a go on it. I was playing about with it on Christmas Day.
Brilliant.
Showing her how to use it and that, and said, she's paid for a holiday for us to go away. I said, take it on that, use it. She's loving it.
Did you tell her before you gave it to her that you'd got it as a leaving gift for your previous job?
Yeah, just before. I mean, I wasn't going to, but because of last Saturday, you sort of put a bit of pressure on and stuff, and I went off and bought her a watch.
Nice.
Good. I thought a little extra.
One of those ones with a little calculator on? From a Texaco?
No, it's alright. It's like a little square Art Deco, the fella said it was.
It is nice, I've seen it.
Oh,
yeah.
So and how did you tell her when you came in with the big news?
What about the camera?
You hadn't bought the gift?
I just I said, oh, you said you wanted a camera, didn't you? And here's one I got from work. Anyway, here's another one.
Right.
So I just sort of told her, but moved on.
Brilliant. And also, you gave us the devastating news last week that just before Christmas, your mum's budgie died. How was Christmas in your household? Was it?
Little bit down. With any death, it's always sad, isn't it, no matter what it is.
Yeah. Particularly budgie.
Well, I mean, how long she had it? Probably lasted about 8 years or something, which is pretty good, isn't it, for a budgie?
Right. Yeah, I think so.
Came unexpected. Wasn't ill.
Right.
And I spoke to her the other day, and I said, how's it going? Because on Christmas Day she was down.
Yeah.
Been calling her up every day. And I spoke to her the other day and said, how are things? And she said, She said, well, the other bird that's in the cage, she's got some sort of parrot that's in the same cage as it.
Right.
It's been a bit down.
Sure.
It's missing its mate. So what she did, she kept a few feathers from the budgie that died, right? She got a rock, a couple of sandwich fasteners, stuck the feathers on the rock. The other bird's happy now.
Wow.
Now I know that your mother explains everything.
And if you ever die, we just get a tennis ball, stick it on the end of a broom, she'll be happy.
Now I can't put my finger on it, but that doesn't sound like the original. And
No.
it's off a compilation. It sounded a bit fast. I think the vocal was slightly different. If anyone can, you know, put me out of misery, I think it might be in a session of the time or something.
Carl, is it a New Year resolution for you? Another one. Maybe when we ask you to get a song, get the original single version.
I could be
and
wrong,
not some
but
obscure session.
yeah, it does seem different, doesn't it?
Very odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we just remember it wrongly. But anyway, that's XFM for you. 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant. Karl Pilkington. Carl, you went to Lanzarote. People said don't go to Lanzarote. They told you it was Lanzarote. They told you, were they right or wrong?
They were right, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's a bit ropey, yeah.
Is it why?
Just, out there. If it wasn't for the volcano they had, they'd been knackered.
That's their big draw, is it?
That's it, basically. That's all they've got going for them.
When you landed, was it really hot? Initially, were you quite excited? You were thinking this is
It
okay?
was warm. It's, you know, we can't complain about the weather. The weather was alright.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's what I went for, but it'd be nice if there just was something else.
Yeah.
What did you do all day then? Did you read your ritual book?
No, I didn't read that. I read that book, do you know the book that I bought, and all the chapters were messed up.
Oh yeah.
I bought a better version of that,
Alright.
and I read that,
Excellent.
and then,
Did it make more sense in order?
yeah, a lot easier to follow.
Yeah.
And then we went and had a look at the volcanoes and that. They've got 36 of them to look at.
How many did you look at before you realised that you know, pretty much, you've seen one volcano, you've seen them all?
Probably about 6 or 7.
Really? And then when you got to the 8th, you thought, now I know what this is going to be, Suzanne. This is going to be like a mountain with a hole in the top.
Yeah.
Really?
But it happened years ago as well. It's like, just keep a couple, fill the rest in, tidy it up.
Fill the rest in!
Yeah, no,
Well, getting some builders.
No, seriously though.
Okay, 4 million tons of concrete, please.
They're an absolute death trap.
Yeah, what? Yeah. What do you mean, fill them in? Do you know what a volcano is?
Just hole, isn't it? That's happened.
Well, it's more than the
happened back
hole. It's
in-
more a portal to the magma in the centre of the earth.
Back in 1730 it happened, and they still haven't sorted it out.
Well, when you say it happened, volcanoes were made a lot longer ago
No,
than 1730.
No, but the one that did Lanzarote in.
Right.
Sort it out.
What would you suggest? How
tidy
can they
up.
fill it in? It's joined. It's all joined.
No, but what I'm
and
saying
the,
is, it was
the
a-
big
it was-
plates of the earth are all joined.
It
All
was
the
a disaster,
magma's
wasn't it?
joined.
With the trade centre thing, that happened. They cleaned it up, sorted it out, they've moved on. That's what I'm saying. Whereas Lanzarote have just gone, leave it. It happened back in 1730.
You misunderstand me. How, in the name of God, can you fill in a volcano? You ignorant twit.
No, but it's not just the holes, they've actually left the lava everywhere. That's what I mean. It's not just the big holes, there's lava everywhere.
But it's molten rock. They can't just pick it up like they're like a carpet.
Put it in the holes are there ready, just push it all in. That's what I'm saying.
What exactly is there then? Is it just a kind of moon-like kind of surround with just kind of dust and rock?
That's exactly what you see. I was there when the Mars thing went wrong.
Yeah.
I would have just sent a camera crew there, filmed a bit of that, right, and say, here we are, this is it. Ignore the little coffee shop in the background, right? This is Mars, because that's where it's like just loads of dust,
Yeah.
holes everywhere. Tidy it up.
Little round-headed aliens complaining.
yeah.
It's just like Mars.
Yeah.
So
So, is there any? What's the best bit about the holiday? Come on, pretend you're Judith Chalmers.
I have been doing. I would have done all that. I would have said that. Don't bother.
Right.
I mean, the hotel was good.
Yeah.
That was all right.
What was that like?
It's all right. Just clean. That's all you want, isn't it?
See, that's not quite what Judith Chalmers does. She doesn't go, what's the hotel like? Alright, yeah, clean, innit? Alright. Well, what was it like? Was it, what was it? 3-star? 4-star? Did it have a swimming pool? What was the
Yeah,
room like?
had a swimming pool and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I think it was one of the better ones on the island.
Okay.
Nightlife?
Wasn't really.
Bars?
Wasn't really. And there was a bar. There was some bands playing.
Yeah.
Not very good. Food. Food got a bit boring.
Yeah.
It was always the same food every night, but they sort of themed it and made out as if it was different. So, like, on Mexican night, it'd be chicken with a nacho on it.
Right.
And Chinese night, sort of chicken with a little prawn cracker on it and stuff.
Sure.
But that got a bit boring.
That's me just turning on my phone, 'cause I want to read to you a text that I got from Carl. I think you sort of sum up the holiday in this text, don't you? Do you remember it?
Can't remember.
Let's have a look. Let's have a little look. Let's
Instantly, what did Suzanne, your girlfriend, make of it?
Uh,
Similar view to you? That they should fill in the holes?
Yeah, it's just that thing, you see, I went on a coach trip, right? And you go and see the volcanoes. Like I said, there's 36 of them.
Yeah.
Which, you know, how many do you need? And when we're on the coach going round all these volcanoes, the fella on the front's going and, look out your left window at the moment, and there's a volcano. And, if you quickly look out at the right-hand side there, there's another one.
Right.
And on the left, and it's just like, alright, we've seen it.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll talk about that trip in a bit.
Right, this is the text I got from Carl, right? Alright. Been up to a volcano. Been in some dead artist's house who built his house in the lava. They said they would show me science with volcanoes, but all they did was chuck some water in a hole and it shot up in the air. No dwarves in the canteen, no scousers here, but there is a Swede woman with a big head. She looks effing gormless with a cap on. Alright? So a little reference there to...
A Swede woman?
What's that mean? Do you mean Swedish?
Yeah.
Or she looked like a vegetable?
No, a Swedish woman. But they've all got sort of quite big built, aren't they?
And I sent him a text. Oh well, it's just good to be on holiday because you know I'm working. He sent back. So am I. Just been watching Sky News. There is a school for monkeys who want to get a band together.
Is that monkey news related? Carl, what have been some of the big news stories that have hit you this year?
Oh, this is going to be good.
Well, I don't really watch the news, do it? It gets me down a bit.
Sure.
Sometimes, you know, you're better off not knowing. I sometimes wonder about, you know, the way we've got satellites and stuff, and you know what's going on the other side of the world. Should we know? Do you know what I mean? Does it do us any good?
Right.
Knowing stuff? So, I mean, you've
That is
mentioned...
brilliant coming from Carl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing quote, isn't it? I mean, it's not we will fight them on the beaches, but, does it do you any good knowing stuff? It's pretty much what sums you up. I thought your New Year's resolution was to learn one thing a day.
all I'm saying is, normally, when you see people who are brainy, they never look like they're that happy.
Like who?
Einstein, Hawking, they all look a bit, like, fed up and that. They've got
Well,
loads of knowledge.
let's leave Hawking aside, with the way he looks, please.
Look at
You're
Einstein.
such an idiot, Carl. You're
Look at-
such an idiot.
Look at Einstein, then.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Then look at me, I'm happy. Right?
You have no reason to be, though.
Anyway,
And Einstein was happy. He was gallivanting around, he was having a laugh, he was going to parties, he was hanging out with Marilyn Monroe, he was loving it, he was inventing nuclear weapons, he was having a whale of a time.
Party time.
anyway, all I'm saying
He was, you know, hanging out with, what's his name, McFly?
right?
It was brilliant.
So, normally, I just pick up on the stories that sort of make me go, oh, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Two that stuck out for me, in 2005. Blind people, not always using dogs now, they've got horses.
Well, that's ridiculous, that's
What are you
not
talking
true.
What are you talking about?
It is true.
What do you mean?
They're trying it out. People, you know, they've got guide dogs and that.
Yes.
They're sort of saying, why stop there? They give
Well,
them...
do you know why?
You can't get a horse in a library.
Exactly.
What?
Because dogs can go into Tesco's with you, and go round to visit your auntie, and sit at your feet. What do you do with a horse?
No, well, it just cuts out the middleman. That if the horse knows where it's going, person gets on the back, off it goes.
Oh, don't talk rubbish.
Where
True
did you read
story.
this?
Where do you read this?
I've got it printed off, I can show it to you.
Oh, so
in
it's
your
the
bag.
internet. Of course it was the internet. Yeah. I mean, when will you learn?
But why is that such a mad idea?
Because you haven't got the whole idea. I bet it is something. I bet there's a grain of truth to it, right? But there's no way that they're going to be used like guide dogs. I mean, just think.
I'll look at the news story during the next song and we'll get to the
What
bottom
else?
of it.
What else? Well, there must be another news story that's got that.
Yeah, it's another one.
Go on.
Chickens and that.
Go on.
a fella had a problem with a chicken, wasn't laying enough eggs and that. He got an axe, put it next to its little house that he was living in, panicked it a bit, laid loads of eggs.
I don't know, is that a major news story?
No, it's not major, but it's interesting, isn't it?
What? Frightening a chicken into laying an egg?
Yeah. No,
So-
they're sort of the two things
That's the only 2 news stories
That's
of the year that have
amazing.
caught your attention.
I mean, that's plus monkey news, obviously, every week. You
Oh,
keep up to date with monkey news.
but what do you think about when you hear about that chicken? What?
I don't think anything of it because it came from you, so you probably got something wrong. Or it was a little fluff piece in a tabloid that just someone, they had a slow news day that day. You know, there
Now,
was.
Rick, am I right in saying that Carl himself made the news this year? Because wasn't it right that a friend of your girlfriend's had read about him? Apparently, you were slagging off Cornwall somewhere.
Yeah, my girlfriend used to live in Cornwall, and you were the front sort of story on something like the Western something or other edition, slagging off Cornwall.
What are you on about?
What have you been up to?
What have you said? What have you said about Cornwall?
I haven't said anything. I like Cornwall.
Yeah, but you must have said something, or they wouldn't have They mentioned Karl Pilkington.
You've been slagging off, apparently.
I love Cornwall. I love going there.
What have you ever said anything about it negatively?
What was that thing? Oh, didn't you slag someone off at Mevagissey? You went into a pub in Mevagissey.
Yeah, and he was airy. That's that one fella. There was a sort of. I went in there, and they're really friendly and everything in Cornwall.
Yeah.
If you're listening,
Don't creep.
No, but I like it. If I
Yeah.
wanted to retire and that early, that's where I'd go and live.
I wouldn't now.
But I went there, right, in this little place called Mevagissey, and went into a pub, and the woman behind the bar was all friendly and going, it was around Christmas time, and she said, oh, what we normally do is, like, have a fancy dress and stuff. She said, yeah, I'll show you some pictures, right? And she was going through, and there was a picture of someone there, and I said, God, what's he come as? Look at him, he's well airy. And she said, oh, he just works behind the bar, he wasn't dressed as anything. And he came out round the corner, airy fella. But there's no way that made the paper.
Have you said anything else negative about it?
When was the last time you were in Cornwall?
It was, we took someone for a wedding present, we took someone on holiday there for
Yeah.
a week. There was a fella on the beach who, he worked in one of them huts, you know how they sell deck chairs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a pretty nice job, especially in the summer, innit? The sun's out, you sat there, all you've got to do is talk to people, say, what do you want, 2 deck chairs, there you go, no problem, see you later. But this fella, right, I went in there, got the chairs, took them back, he was being really moody. He said, so you got a lot of sand on them. I said, well, there's loads of it out there. It's not a surprise that it's stuck on, and he had a bit of a moan at me. And I don't know if I've ever mentioned that, sort of.
Well, maybe he
openly.
recognised you.
But that isn't a diss, that's one person, isn't it?
If you're from Cornwall and you've got any reason to
But there's
dislike
not many
Carl,
people live in Cornwall. It's a very small community. I mean, no wonder they don't want to be part of us, with people like you slagging them off.
I love Cornwall, got
So
nothing
do I.
against
I
it.
think Cornwall's beautiful. You're an idiot.
Uh-huh.
Don't, anyone in Cornwall, do not judge the rest of the nation by Karl Pilkington. It's not fair. I sometimes wonder imagine if he's the one that archaeologists dig up in a million years' time.
Yeah.
And find some of his notes, and they
Yeah.
measure the head and everything, and then some of the ramblings that he did. Do you know
or
what
if
I
an
mean?
alien comes down, it would just be him that they'd bump into. And
That
say,
would be just our luck, wouldn't
I
it?
tell you what though, talking of like education and that, I know I'm sort of not the brightest bloke knocking about and that, right? But I treat myself the other day to a new mobile, right? And you know, going through it, getting used to it, getting used to how to send text and all that. And you know the predictive text?
Yeah.
So if you send a text, you type it in,
Yeah.
and that sort of guesses what you're going to write out,
Yeah.
right? And it's new, so it doesn't really know me yet, right? And I was sending a text to someone to say something like, I ain't got a clue or something, right? Wrote ain't, right? A-I-N-T. Looked up at the screen to make sure that he'd written it right. That had written up biotechnology.
What?
That had predicted that I was going to use the word biotechnology. I am never going to use that word. Ever.
What? I ain't got a clue.
No, ain't. A-I-N-T.
Yeah.
I wrote that, just A-I-N-T on the phone. Looked up.
I love the fact that you've got a cleverer phone than you. So good Christmases, yeah, all round.
definitely for me. Had a great time. Yeah, Carl.
It's alright.
How does it rate with, what did Suzanne get you?
She got me, you see, you were having a go at me about giving her, a camera, right? Which
which was given to you, which was second-hand. Essentially second-hand.
It doesn't really matter that bit. But it's a present that both of us could use, right? And you were making me feel bad about that. That's why I got her a watch, right? Which in a way I can use because I can say what time is it.
Sure.
But
Chico time, innit?
But the thing is, right? She got me she got me a little printer.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Well,
What, you need a little fella who works in a print shop?
just a little printer to go with a computer and that. But for me, again, that's a present that we can all be using.
You are so ungrateful.
It's not that. It's just that when it's good when you're a kid, isn't it? When Christmas is all about like your presents.
What did you want when you were a kid? What's your best present you ever had?
There's a few things. I mean, one that I always remember one Christmas, right? It was the year when computers first came out,
Right.
And there was one called the Sinclair Spectrum that I wanted, right?
What year are we talking? 80?
Must be 80, 83, 84,
Right,
yeah. And anyway, I think my mum and dad's got me one. It's under the tree in a big box. I'm thinking, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
About the size of a computer. Brilliant. Anyway, Christmas Day comes, I couldn't sleep and all that, excited like you are as a kid.
Yeah.
Get up, open it. It's not the one I wanted, right?
Really?
It's not the Spectrum, it was a ZX81,
Okay.
right? So I thought, well, I've best not show that I'm disappointed in that. Even as a kid you have sort of, that thing of
You
saying,
lost that, now you say, oh, it's not what I wanted, Suzanne, but go
yeah,
on.
yeah, but so I sort of, pretended I liked it and that. I thought, oh, just play some games on it, I'll just get on with it, right? Anyway, I try and load up.
Even as a kid, he had the weight of the world. I know.
His parents have saved up for it.
Look at his frown lines. Look, he's frowned since he was about 4.
Yeah.
Look at those lines.
Right. So, yeah, but this is why. You'll understand in a minute when I tell you the end of this story.
Go on.
So, I load up a computer game, which used to take about 10 minutes.
Was
right?
it on cassette? You had to load- oh, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a fax machine, doesn't it? Yeah.
Right? Anyway, it wouldn't load. I was thinking, what's up with this? Is it broke? Right? And I kept trying it. And my dad sort of, my mum used to get up early to open the presents with me. My dad got up at about midday, he couldn't be bothered. Right? Anyway, he comes down,
This
I'm
is so
still...
telling. This
I
is
know, the picture he paints is
I
so
know, it's
heartbreaking.
like Alan Bennett or something.
Yeah.
Or Dickens.
Yeah, or some of those kind of 60s back, like Kathy Come Home, sort of,
really insane dramas.
So anyway, so I'm there, right, getting frown growing and that.
Yeah.
Trying to read this book, thinking, why isn't it working? So my dad has a look, and he goes, oh, you're missing a bit. I said, what? He goes, you need a RAM pack, right? Which is a bit that you put in the back of it that gives it extra memory.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what do you
need
mean?
one of them.
I'm like, what do you mean? It's Christmas Day, right? And we're talking about the days when, like, Tandy wasn't open. It wasn't open for days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like now, by lunchtime Christmas Day, everything's open again.
Yeah,
sure,
right?
yeah.
Then you had to wait about 2 weeks. Everyone like had a big holiday and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh god, I actually started to be sick, right, with frustration.
Oh no!
What?
With
How old were you? How old were you?
Do you know what?
How old were you?
Well, like I say, I don't know. It must have been about 8 or something.
Oh.
But that thing of like, what it's Christmas Day and I can't play with it, and I had to wait for like 2 weeks or what have you. Sat over the kitchen sink, sort of going, stressing out. Hated it. It was a rubbish Christmas.
Wow.
I love the idea of you going,
Just stress, isn't it?
What did your dad say?
He just sort of said, look, calm down, we'll get you one when the shop's open. And it's like, yeah, but 2 weeks, isn't it?
I have never heard anyone being sick from stress.
Oh, poor little kid, just so stressed.
Yeah.
Meal, quiet. I thought, that's good. He's not going to complain about the noise and that. Sit down, I have some arrabbiata, which is nice and that.
Alright.
Anyway, he starts sort of normal chat, saying how he'd like to put my head in a vice.
Sorry, he'd like to put your head in a vice.
In a vice, yeah.
Not
just
really.
Sort of normal, sort of.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I was just thinking that it would be lovely to put him in one, those vice that are sort of attached to workbenches?
Yeah.
Just so, not to, just put it in there so he's caught there, and then I can sort of do what paint his head or something,
Sure.
or feel it squeezing. And I just imagined sort of squeezing it too tight, didn't I?
So he's saying all this, right? Which I'm getting the sort of picture enough without sounds,
Right.
but then he thinks, well, why not add sounds? It's quiet in here, right? Starts sort of going, so your head's in the vice, tighten it, and you're sort of going, right? So he's sat in a chair, quiet restaurant, doing that. It's like the scene out of When Harry Met Sally,
Yeah.
right? All these, like, tourists and that sat there sort of going, oh, Ricky Gervais over there. And then suddenly, like, from a look of like, oh, that's good, it's Ricky Gervais, to what the hell is going on?
But I just imagine his little head, because what he did, I just imagine him in a tighten, I go,
Is there any other radio show that's ever been on Radio 2 that has had this discussion?
Well, no.
Does Johnny Walker, OBE, ever say, I'd love to put Terry Wogan's head in a vice and see what happens? We were going to have a quick assessment of the year's events, because it's been a tumultuous year in many ways, Rick. You know, some steps forward. I'm sure you'll agree with the ban on fox hunting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really can't believe it took to 2005. And then people moaning, we can't go and hunt fox. Oh, why not? You can't go and have a fox ripped to pieces. Oh, what do you want to do instead?
I never understood it, because it was people getting up in arms, and it's a sport for them. It's a game, so it's like you can't play Yahtzee anymore. You've got to play Guess Who. Well, alright.
And all this rubbish about, oh, well, you know, it's what foxes do. Oh, is it? Oh, but why do you like it? You wouldn't want a robot fox, because you want to see blood. My brother-in-law was doing this job, he's a driver, and he went to this sort of really posh school, and he was talking to someone there, they're into fox hunting and stuff, and he said, I don't agree with, just chatting to us, I don't agree with fox hunting. They went, oh, why, are you a vegetarian? He went, no, I eat meat. They went, you eat meat, but you don't agree with hunting? He went, why, do you eat fox?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a ridiculous argument.
Are you pleased with that ban, Carl?
What sort of? I don't think, you know, we should sort of any animal, should we?
I totally agree.
And
yeah.
sort of, you know, respect their place and that. I mean, I went on holiday once, right? Went into the sea, right? Was only up to my knees, right? Got stung by a jellyfish, right?
Sure.
And what I mean is, like, you know, the sea, that's someone else's territory, innit?
Right.
And I could have had a moan.
But you
I was like, well, I shouldn't be here.
Whereas if you went home and you were watching telly and a jellyfish came at you,
I'd say what's going on.
you would, wouldn't you? You would say what's going on, wouldn't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
You definitely would. If a jellyfish came out from behind your telly and clamped onto your face, you'd go, Suzanne, what's going on? What's the jellyfish doing? I don't go into the sea. But it's like when they, that bloke that climbed into a polar bear cage and got eaten, and there was a thing about have the polar bear put down. No, don't have the polar bear put down. You took him from the ice caps, popped him in a zoo, right? That's his house now. He didn't want to be there, right?
Yeah.
And then someone climbed in. I love it when a matador gets gored to death. I love it, because the bull didn't want to fight.
Happy New Year. But also this year, of course, we've had the gay civil marriages, or the civil ceremonies. I'm not entirely sure yet what this is. Do we loosely call it gay marriage, just for the sake of ease?
No, well, it's just it's officially a civil marriage, isn't it? They're not saying it's a marriage as such, because I don't know if the church acknowledge it or not. I'm not sure. We got enough vicars listening.
They can let us know.
Let us know. Yeah.
But I don't know if you read it. I read it in the paper the other day.
But the church is going to look nice, isn't it? The flowers are going to look brilliant,
really good,
aren't they?
But I don't know if you read the other day that I was pleased to read that John Inman, Mr. Humphreys from Are You Being Served, has just been involved in his civil ceremony with his long-term partner.
Whoa. John Inman's gay.
Yeah, no, I know. It's stunning, isn't it?
I know, unbelievable. I do like it when one of those sort of people that are so obviously gay, they come out after like years, like Elton John comes out and goes, actually, I've got some news. Sit down. Mate, just sit down, I've got some news for you. Oh, hello, Alan. Like your new pink tracksuit, by the way. That's what I want to talk to you about. I'm actually gay. And they all have to go, you're joking.
Yeah, they gotta fake it.
No way.
Like when someone knows there's a surprise party for them, they gotta pretend that they, oh my god, I can't believe it. But,
yeah, so what we've had, it is a year of disasters, which is, it does seem worse this year. I don't, maybe I'm hitting that age where I think there was like, it was nicer before, but it was a year of disasters,
It's
wasn't
been
it?
terrible. Well, we've had obviously Hurricane Katrina and the tsunami and the earthquake and things, and it's obviously been terrible, and we don't want you to be flippant about that, but the only time I was praying for a natural disaster of biblical proportions was when I was watching Celebrity Love Island. and it never happened, sadly. And some of the dregs of humanity on that show, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but Paul Danan is a joy, because he's a mental case, and I say that, I don't know if that's libelous, but, I mean, if anyone's seen the show...
What did you say?
I said he was a mental case.
Yeah, it's pretty libelous, I think, I think he could sue you there.
Okay, well, I'll take that back.
Take that back, he's not a mental case.
He is, I think...
I mean, let's face it, before you, say anyone is stupid or a mental case, do the old binary sort, are they madder and thicker than Carl? If not, I think you know...
That means I can never accuse anyone of being stupid. But I love that he was talking about Lady Isabella Harvey, and he went, I love Lady Isabella Harvey, because, the thing is, like, she don't like books, and I don't like books.
Brilliant, they got something in common then.
The idea that something in common is something that they don't do together.
I love the idea that people like us were sitting around just praying for a big wind.
Just a big wind.
And the only big wind was from Rebecca Lewis. In fact, the thing is about the world and Carl is that he's the same shape as the world, and that's why I like him, because that's all you need there, little round...
I can't help but think the, pot calling the kettle black there, Rick.
What? My body's round, my head is sort of fat and square. So how dare you?
Just quickly before we move on to the final bit of the sermon, we just thinking back to some of the other highlights of the year. One of mine, Rick, I'm sure one of yours, Live 8.
Live 8 was great
Magnificent.
fun.
Not only was it a great day, but obviously, you know, it made its message very much clear and open to the world. Did you enjoy Live 8, Carl?
Yeah, it was alright. It's, you know, quite a good thing. I mean, has it sorted the problems out, or...?
Well, it's more about raising awareness, isn't it, and bringing that to the world's attention.
I'm aware of it, so yeah, it's sort of done the job on that. But I read something about,
Unbelievable.
do you know, but, you know, because Live 8 was all about money and stuff, wasn't it, giving money and
No, it wasn't really.
Well...
It was about awareness, but it was about, the G8...
Dropping the debt.
Cancelling the debt to I think the 20th poorest nations or something, which I think...
Yeah. Well, then I was reading up on that, and there was something about, do you know Bill Gates?
Yeah.
Who did, the computer stuff, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's the
Microsoft. Yeah.
wealthiest man in the world or something.
Absolutely, I think the first 100 billionaire.
Wow.
Was he?
That is a lot of money, because they worked out, they put to him that, with his labour, what his labour's worth, he would have to drop over $6,000 to be bothered to pick it up.
Wow.
And they asked him, and he said, well, of course I'd pick it up, you know, because it doesn't work like that. But yes, he's that rich.
But he could just pay someone to do it as well, couldn't he?
Okay, get on with it, Carl. Again, you've missed the point. Again, you've missed the point.
But all I'm saying...
Sorry, Gracie, wherever you are, Carl's an idiot, and I stand by it.
Bill Gates...
And don't rip foxes to pieces.
He's got that much money, right? He's saying that he could give everyone in the world, right, £6.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, right? And just what I was thinking and what I wanted to say to you, see what you think, right? Do you think it's fair that everybody gets £6?
Right, why? What's your point?
What do you mean? You should mean the poor should get more?
Well, no, not really. What I mean is, say like if you live in Africa, right?
Yeah.
You can get a lot more for, say, £1 there than you can in London. So what I'm saying is, rather than £6 each,
Yeah.
maybe give people in London a tenner each, in Africa or whatever, give them about £3, £3.50.
So you're saying, give the poorest people less, so they can get as much for their money in their Argos?
Yeah, basically.
You're saying, if you were to redistribute wealth, you'd give the poor people slightly less than the rich people because they've got a higher standard of living. Gracie, once again, can I come back to you on this? Do you know now why I call him a Oh, you know what I like about Gracie? She told the truth and she put her name. It's Grace, actually. She put her name down. Some people, I mean, just say you're a prat and they believe
They just shout at you across the street.
Yeah,
Oh, fat man! You're not funny!
Yeah, but you know, I mean, I rest my case. Carl, you're an idiot.
Wacky Mank.
Wacky Mank, that's
Wacky
great.
Mank.
Wacky Mank.
We had an email from someone who reckons they remember you from body popping round Salford way.
Yeah, Eccles Precinct, apparently.
You know that,
I wasn't doing it round there though.
Well, what do you mean?
I was round Stretford. Arndale.
And what were you doing? What sort of body popping was it?
A bit of everything. Caterpillar. Bit of moonwalking.
Do you have a little piece of line there you used to carry around?
Well, mates had that.
Right, you didn't
Borrowed
bother with
theirs. Borrowed theirs.
Were you really good? But you weren't breakdancing, well, you weren't spinning on your head and stuff, you were more body popping.
that. Well, I hope he wasn't speaking on his head, because you know that can sort of give you little brain damage and things.
It can give you brain damage. Also, it can wear your head down, and also makes your head perfectly round.
Yeah.
Because the gravity is pulling on
But
all
if you keep on doing it, obviously it's going to wear your hair.
hair out, yeah. So you become sort of like a stupid, bald, and roundy headed.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You've got to be very
I very much doubt that you did do any of that. Did you, Carl?
Didn't do any of that.
Right now, Carl, come on here. It's the time where I'm gonna let a cork off. Do you want to film this, Steve? For
Yeah,
the
let me
website?
just
That'll be
take that
available on the website next week, rickygervais.com. So see Carl getting hit. One bloke suggested we leave the metal cap on because it's get a better pitch, but we'll take that. He's staying. It's dead
Hang on, let's get the camera ready.
Get the camera ready. Ready?
So if you've just joined us, we are using some Lindauer's sparkling wine to basically, what can I say really, fire a cork at Carl's round
ready?
head.
Ready?
Hang on a sec, let me just put the headphones on.
Right, film this then. He's in position, look.
Just firing up.
Okay, Carl, come on there so we can see your head a little bit. We want to get the noise, the microphone there. Right, ready? Hold on.
Good. So you're just doing it.
Hold on. Now, it's in position. What if it... Oh. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, God, it... Oh!
It's like Jackass.
Did it hurt?
Behind me.
What do you mean, did it hit you?
I sort of just...
It went off course, did it? Just glanced, did it?
Right, Lindauers, you're going to send us 8 more bottles, please.
Yeah,
we're going to get this right. So what did you do for New Year, incidentally?
Well, I cocked it up a bit. Right?
You're joking.
Go on,
You're
here we
joking.
go.
You're joking, mate. Go on.
I went and booked a
You
table.
got the wrong day.
No, right? Booked a table at a restaurant that was shut. Right?
What?
I booked a table at a restaurant, and the one that I called, it wasn't the one. The call had been diverted. So Suzanne said, call them up and see what they're serving, right? Because I forgot to do that when I booked the table, right?
That's great, anyway.
So because the thing is, right, it's a restaurant in Covent Garden, but they've got one in Victoria. But when they answered and they said, no, Victoria, I thought that was the person who was answering the phone. Do you know how some people say the name?
Right.
Right? So then when I called them up and said, what
You thought he sounded a bit funny?
Right? So,
I'm confused, Carl, but probably not more.
Well,
I know more than you would have been on the...
it was a branch of a, he doesn't
Anyway,
want to give the restaurant away, so he phoned it up, there's one in Covent Garden, they answered the
So
phone.
it's not, the restaurant's not called No.
No, they said, no, Victoria.
Why can't we name the restaurant?
I don't know why.
Are we
It's
scared-
not libelous.
Are we scared that, like, are you scared people are going to sort of see you in there because it's your regular home?
no, it's just that, you know, you got to pay for stuff, haven't you?
Right.
I mean, it's...
Okay, anyway, so you've
I
got...
wouldn't mention it before New Year, but it's not...
So did you go all the way to the restaurant to find out that it was closed?
No. What happened is I called
Was that the
them
name of the restaurant again?
Right, the restaurant's called Christopher's. They've got one in Covent Garden, they've got one in Victoria. He
Right.
phoned up, he went to book, it's a lovely restaurant, I've been there often, I recommend it to him. He phones up, says, can I have a table for new, he said, no problem, sir. Right? And then, Suzanne said, oh, you better call up, see if they've got any haddock on the, menu. And he went, hello, and they went, hello, Christopher's. Victoria went, Victoria? They went, yeah, he went, oh no. That's it, innit?
So then I just said, no, forget it. I'm not going all the way over there. So I cancelled it, right? So when I called up Suzanne and said, look, I've made an error. The place we were going to is shut.
Was she
So-
surprised again, or?
So we're not going. So she said, oh, try some other places. And I did. They were all booked up,
Yeah.
right? I was fed up anyway. I hate New Year. It's always like this, isn't it? So, I said, look.
You know the common factor in all these stories? You hate Christmas, you hate birthdays,
It's
you hate
you.
New Year. It is you.
Right?
Yeah.
So I said, I'll sort something out.
Yeah.
So I went to Tesco.
Leave it with me. Went to Tesco's, boots
You went
were
to
shut.
Tesco.
Got a lovely plate of condoms.
Did you just stay in and play with her birthday, her Christmas gifts?
blowing them up? They're all
Staying in.
I've done some balloons.
Well, it was. I think we did stay in, and I watched that thing that 100 Greatest Moments, which was annoying me. Did you see? There was a nudist on it. You know how I feel about them.
Yeah.
Right? Did you see him?
Man with two knobs.
There was a man with two knobs on it, and a nudist who just like wanders about the house.
But it said and when he visits people, I was thinking, who lets him visit? I go,
Exactly, yeah.
But he must go there with trousers on and go, hello, lovely to see you. Can I just pop all these off? Well, not really, no.
And I tell you what annoyed me the most. They had a white sofa. If you were a nudist, you'd get a darker one. Right? So anyway, right. So we ended up watching that. That annoyed me. And then I was tired by about 11, and I said, "Oh, let's go to bed." And she said, "You can't." And that annoys me. The fact that because it's New Year, you got to stay up, and it's like, well, why can't we just? You should bring it forward, so in case you want
To quarter to 10.
Well, you stay up, and it's like my eyes were dead heavy, and I was like, oh, I want to go to sleep. So just stay up, and then it's midnight, and you go Happy New Year, then you go to bed.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone, Carl. Some people have a little party.
So
it's over with anyway.
yeah.
So,
Are you 86 years old?
it just sticks on my nerves.
Do you ever enjoy? You never seem to have any fun, Carl. This is what disappoints. This is what worries me. I feel like you're going to die.
You're here,
young,
you're here, Carl, with us two. We've got three, as I was just saying to Steve, three of the greatest comedy minds ever in one room, and Steve pointed out since the goodies.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Well, I mean,
It should be party central.
yeah. Ricky Gervais, with me, Stephen Merchant.
Hello there. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year indeed, and across from us, the little fellow who presses the buttons, because, to be honest, we can't be bothered.
Yep.
Carl Pilkington.
How would you describe Karl Pilkington for people who didn't hear the show last week?
For you to hear the show, Karl is, and he won't want me saying this, because he won't fully understand it, one of the most stupid men I've ever met.
Yes. That's absolutely right.
He has a perfectly round head.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. You can see pictures of him. Go to rickygervais.com. We've put up some photographs, just snapshots, and honestly, his head looks like an egg.
It's not an issue though, is it?
What?
We're on the radio. Doesn't matter.
They're just trying to, paint a picture for people though, Karl. It's important.
In fact, I have painted a picture. You can go to the BBC website and you can, I think you can win that if someone hasn't already.
But can you download it as wallpaper for your computer? You can. So if you want to see a cartoon representation of Karl, then there it is.
It's an original signed by me. I mean, it's not Damien Hirst.
No, sure.
But I mean, I think it's pretty accurate, Steve. I mean, for people who can't see it, but you can see a real photo or the. But that's Karl Pilkington, one of the most stupid men alive. You know, some people still think that he's an invention.
I know.
He think that we invented him and we give him lines and stuff, as if we could do that. What? And we shaved his head as well, and made him live in Manchester for 20 years. It's.
When I was younger, I had a mobile disco.
Brilliant. So did I.
And it was me and my mate Colin making, and the disco is called Pilky's Making Music.
That's brilliant. I mean, genuinely brilliant. Pilky's Making Music.
But I was just looking through the papers, of course, and it's the New Year's Honours list today, and I imagine you're very excited about that, Karl.
New Year's Honours and all that.
Yeah, you're familiar with that, when people get knighthoods and OBEs?
I've heard about it.
Sir Tom Jones, you got to call him Sir Tom now. You pleased with that? Do you think Tom Jones deserved it?
Well, they sort of chuck him out to anyone now, don't they? So if he wants one, let him have one. Well, it's just, I mean, the way I saw it was, like, you know, the Queen used to give them out to people who, you know, did like big things like killing dragons and all that.
Yeah, that was a while. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now it's, you know, from dragon killers to sort of Joe Pasquale.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, you went in the jungle with Ant and Dec. And Karl now, we've made him what he is. He was nothing when we found him.
He was like work experience.
And now he's going, oh, we should start off with stereophonics. I'm going,
trying to
Karl,
tell you what to do,
if I want anyone's opinion, I don't. Basically.
But you probably come to me, I imagine, wouldn't you? I'd be the first person.
Before Karl, I'd consult you, Steve.
Thank you.
Just keep it, just because he was in the, was it Pilking's Making Music? Pilking's Making, I bet you never pleased a crowd once.
Did. Loads of times.
Go on then, what did you play? What's your biggest gig you ever played?
I did, like a social club gig.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about the music either. I used to.
What else could it be about?
I used to take prizes and cigars and stuff.
In a youth club?
To give away.
I just love these, like, 14-year-old manx hanging out going, let's go have hair, you might have some fags and cigars for us.
Well, it was whatever, like, was on my mum and dad's dressing table.
That could have been embarrassing, couldn't it?
That could have been deeply embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You've won.
And third prize, some handcuffs.
And a black mamba. I'm not saying that at any point in your upbringing, your parents left around any kind of marital aid on the dressing table. Don't think I'm saying that, Karl. I'm not suggesting. Like, he doesn't like this, does he?
Well, I can understand why.
Oh yeah, because it's about his.
It's about his parents having sex.
Well, they must have.
Yeah,
at least 3 times.
I think I was an accident.
I
still have had sex.
Alcohol. I think it's been ongoing. I just never liked any records that with a hint of novelty about them.
They are popular. They're floor fillers.
I hate them. I just.
You haven't done DJing, have you?
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Singing on the other side of your face.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Not
you didn't play
popular.
Dexter's Midnight Runners?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't plan it out that much when I did it. It was like, I knew I had the tights and cigars to give away.
Yes. Yeah.
Which he
At the
stole
raffle.
from his parents' bedroom beforehand.
Yeah.
Why were you giving away stuff at a disco anyway? Why aren't you just playing records?
Because people liked it, didn't they? If it wasn't...
It hasn't changed. We're doing this. We talk rubbish, we play records, and we give away crap that we found.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed, has it?
And, so I had some good times. I mean, for people who haven't been listening all the time, it was called Pilky's Making Music.
Yeah,
It was
Making.
like Pilkington, and my mate was called something Making, and the music was what we played, right? And I had some cards made, had some nice blue glossy cards made, but they were quite expensive.
Yeah.
So I used to hand them out, and then they'd say cheers for that, and say, no, write it down, write the number down, I want that back.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Because they were quite pricey.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Classy businessman there.
Made,
I think Richard Branson used to do that.
I think so, yeah.
saved a bit of money, because my dad made some some lights for me. He just like...
He said he made them, he found them in a telephone box.
The-
People were making phone calls in the dark. Round the neighbourhood.
Exactly.
It was just white bulbs in like a box, and like my mate making, he used to just flick them on and off, like the thing, and then they'd be in time with the music and that. And
Perfect.
Well, you had to sit there and flip
I
the
love
lights
that.
on
I
and
love
off.
that. We got our sound to light system. What's his name? Colin.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
right, so
Did you ever
I did
rent
that.
him out?
Right, well, we never had any disasters, right? But my mate did one, right? And I don't know if it's that funny, really, but it. Well, that's tell you anyway, right? He was doing this gig, and it was probably one of the biggest gigs, right, that he ever had. Must have been a couple of hundred people there, and in like a big sort of warehouse thing. Anyway, for some reason, there was some problem with a big speaker that fell, right? So the police turn up and stuff.
Right.
And they try to control the night, and they're going, can everyone sit down? We try to control it. Can you sit down? So anyway, you get a few like little groups of people sitting down on the floor, and people were still stood up, and the police were saying, look, you know, we're going to cancel this whole night if you don't all sit down. And more people are sort of sitting down. It's going on for about 20 odd minutes, right? Will you please sit down? And it gets to this point when there's just one lad stood up in the middle. And he's going, look, you're ruining it for everyone. Will you sit down? And it goes quiet for a bit, and someone's muttering something. And he goes, the lad standing up has got calipers on his legs. Can we have a round of applause for the kid?
Who said that?
It was this lad who was doing the DJ. He was the DJ. So, like, they kept the police and everything were saying, well, you sit down, you're ruining it for everyone else.
Dear. You know, the quick way to sort that out would have been to play upside your head.
Yeah.
Or sit down. Yeah.
But most of mine were, I had good nights.
Yeah.
Always got rebooked and stuff. And someone here who I work with,
Yeah.
right, I'm not going to say they are because it doesn't matter, but they were eating space cake, right?
What do you mean by that, Carl? Explain.
What's a space cake?
For people who...
It's some sort of druggy cake, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
A dope brownie or whatever, yeah.
Right.
So with cannabis in it, is that what you're saying?
I think it's something stronger than that, isn't it? I don't know. But anyway, he was having this space cake, and...
You better give me the name now, Carl, because I've got to report him.
No, listen.
It's only... No,
It
'cause
really
is
doesn't
still...
matter.
No.
Is it Sturgis? Was it Claire Sturgis?
Yeah,
She
let's say
wouldn't
it
bother.
is.
She's gone on to hardest. She doesn't
Sure,
bother with
yeah,
dope.
she's just
It doesn't-
jacked straight up.
doesn't do anything to her
Straight
now.
to the vein, yeah.
So listen,
Yeah.
right, so he's at a party, right,
Yeah.
with his mates, and they're listening to, the, Star Sailor album, right?
Right.
And, he sat there, and he's had some of this cake,
Right.
and, he's listening to the album, and his mate sat across the way, talking to someone else, right?
That's weird.
The album's on, and he thinks to himself, this track's going on a bit.
Yeah.
And his mate across the way, who's talking to someone else,
Heard him say it.
heard him say it, and he goes,
Yeah.
yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he goes, oh,
Right.
and he goes,
See, usually at this point, I say, had this bloke taken drugs, but you started the story
Yeah.
with this bloke
no.
had done some
But
drugs.
since,
Right, Rick?
no, if he was here now,
Yeah.
right, he would say, yeah, I know it sounds mental,
Yeah.
but it happened. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just the one question, it wasn't just like, oh, this track's a bit long, innit? Yeah, it is.
He had a
It
whole
was
conversation.
A whole conversation
Sure.
with the guy. And
Yeah.
the-
What, but sorry, I just want to clarify. You mean he had the whole conversation telepathically?
yeah.
Right. He didn't just shout across the
And
room.
they've recently met up and, like, they've sat there and tried to, like, work out what happened. And it's never
Without,
happened
presumably they
again.
don't have to talk at all anymore.
Yeah. Why did they meet up? Couldn't they just like in their own homes? Just stay at
Do
home.
they have to have that cake before they
Yeah, before they
start
have
having
to
a
chat.
conversation? Hold on, wait a minute, lads. Why are we using our lips?
Yeah.
This is using way too many oh, take them. There you go.
My only question with that is, being skeptics like Ricky and I, whenever we hear a story like that about the paranormal, the first thing we always look for is maybe some other explanation.
Yeah.
Maybe one vague idea.
Lying.
Could be lying.
Chinese whisper.
As I think you pointed out, there are drugs. Is often an issue as well.
Madness.
Yeah.
Fear. Delusion. Sleep.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many things you go through.
I'm gonna go with the drugs
before your dead grandmother
Exactly.
pops into the equation
I'm
for
gonna
me.
go with the acid.
Right. Look, you're actually a little bit stressed there, aren't you? Because you had to drink last night, didn't you?
I had a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
I was down at Steve's night. He was doing a bit of DJ.
Yeah.
Went down the store.
And that's why you're all grumpy. What?
Did you hear what he just said?
What?
I was DJing last night, obviously that XFM evening.
Yeah, yeah.
Hour and a half, my friend and I split the time on the decks.
Yeah.
What was the word you just used?
He went down a storm.
We went down a storm. Right, 3 girls, I was walking to the toilets during my set, 3 girls went, "You are a genius." Right? What's his name? Dane Bowers, Zane Lowe.
Because you played records in a certain order.
Yes. Sorry Rick, if you can't deal with that. Sorry if you're a little bit jealous, because this time you can't share the award. Alright?
Dear.
But it was my credit this
You
time.
can tell he hasn't been a DJ. Because it's not just about
It's not just about that
the songs you play, it's
choreography,
the way you play them.
Oh,
the way you play them, whether it's 33 or 45, very important.
Yeah, leave your hand on
Exactly.
them as they're trying to go round. What's your favourite song of
But
all
how
time?
could you do that? Because you haven't heard how that ended now, you see. I've just told you there what he was doing.
Because you probably got it wrong.
I haven't, and then what
I
happens at the end?
assume everything you say is probably wrong.
There you go, then you'll never know, and that will annoy you now. So, other songs I like, Rod Stewart, Killing a Georgie.
Oh yeah, that's your favourite song, isn't it?
That's good.
Because it's, yeah.
What's the story there?
Just about a little gay fella goes to New York, because that's, like, I think it was in the 70s when, like, you know, if you were gay and that, New York was brilliant.
Yeah.
That was like, you know, where they all went and stuff. Had a good life there. His dad didn't, I think his dad kicked him out or something.
No, I'm sure you're thinking of, Small Town Boy by Bronski Beat. I'm sure you're getting all these mixed up just because it's another little gay fella, as you call him.
Anyway, he goes to New York.
He goes to New York.
He's having a wedding time.
Yeah, having a good time in the 70s.
Oh, you're right. His dad said, "How can a son of mine not be straight?" I take it all back. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And he goes to New York and that. They go out late, don't they? They have like late nights out and stuff.
What do you mean?
No, I just mean, you know, gays like to party and that, they like to live, you know what I mean, they get the most out of life and that. Partying late. He was on his way home.
I'm sorry, that's such a general
Everyone goes out late and
What
parties.
do you mean they like to go out late?
No, it's just if you go in Soho in London, right, at like 5 in the morning, you think it was like rush hour. It's
But
mental.
you assume
Partying.
anyone who takes a bit of pride in their appearance is gay.
Well, I mean, no, you can look after yourself and that without being a little gay fella, but I'm just saying that's what that song's about. And
Can I just say, anyone's offended by this, he means no harm, he doesn't know, he knows not what he says, really. Everything from Carl is totally genuine, he's not having a go, you live and let live, don't you? There is,
He's a bit like Mork from Mork and Mindy.
he hasn't got a prejudicial bone in his body, but go on then.
yeah, so, and then because he was out late, he was walking back and sort of, it's a bit of a sad ending, he gets attacked and that, but it's a good song if you want a song with a story. Rod Stewart, Killing a Georgie.
Brilliant.
So 3 girls there,
Yeah.
charmed by me, they loved it.
Yeah.
Zane Lowe, XFM DJ and MTV presenter, probably one of the coolest blokes alive. He came up, gave us massive respect. He said, "I'm loving your set." He actually used those words, right? There were people coming up, they couldn't believe their luck. It was roaring. We'd stick on a track, people would cheer as it came on, right? My particular favourite, Carl, I think you'll agree, my particular triumvirate, LL Cool J, Mama Said Knock You Out, leading straight into House of Pain, Jump Around, then straight into that current Elvis track that's been re-released, remixed by Junkie XL. I played the original, which I'd already played on XFM before. I'm already there, cutting edge.
Yeah.
Right?
Three old tracks, you mean?
3 old tracks.
In a row?
Yep. And, what I think the words that would best sum it up are, I kicked ass.
Great.
Rick. Alright?
Well, I'm going to be kicking some ass today, because
I
I'm
look forward to it.
going to be shamelessly self-indulgent, and we've only got 2 shows to go, so I'm playing some of the most beauteous tunes in the world. And I was just telling Carl, lined up a Simon and Garfunkel track, Only Living Boy in New York. He went, "Why is he the only living boy in New York?" I went, "What?" He went, "What does that mean then?" I went, "I don't know." He went, "Well, what's it about?" I said, I don't care. I said, it's lovely singing. He goes, "No, what's it?" I said, "I don't go into that." I said, he went, I like a story." I said, "Like what?" I said, "Killing a Georgie, no trickery." Killing of Georgie. I think we should play that at the last.
It's good, I heard it the other day on Radio 2, it was cracking. It
Yeah.
sounds like well.
It's really good.
Tell them what it's about again.
It's about, little girl, gay fella.
A little what? A little gay fella?
Yeah.
Right.
Who, I haven't heard it for a bit, so it's all off memory, this. But,
Yeah.
gay bloke, is he from Scotland?
I have no idea.
But he's from somewhere where gays aren't liked.
Okay.
Right?
No.
No, he is,
Georgie
kind
Boy
of.
was Gargate, nothing more and nothing the kindest guy I ever knew, right? Now, all he did was, right, his father said, "How can my son not be straight?" Kicked him out, right? Goes to America.
Yeah, but you can handle
Yeah.
all that. You can handle your dad not getting on with you if other people around you are into the same scene.
Yeah.
But
That's
he
right.
was like, he was left on his own, he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
He was getting stressed out.
Yeah.
So he goes.
And this was before, this was before. I mean, this is when did this record come out?
77?
77
yeah.
years, something like that.
Right.
And he's
During punk.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah.
So
you know, the village people had come along and made gay cool.
Yeah.
That had already happened.
Yeah.
But it wasn't respected.
But he was watching the telly or something, and he saw that New York had loads of them over there, and they're all having a good time.
Sure.
No, sorry. At no point in the song does Rod Stewart say little gay Georgie was watching telly and saw loads of gays in New York. At no point in that song.
No, but this is what I like about that song. You sort of picture what's going on.
You make it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the little gay fella was watching telly, and there was presumably the and now from New York, the gay show. Yeah.
Or whatever, because it was a big scene over there, wasn't he, in the 70s?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Go on.
So he goes over there, and he's having a great time and that. He's meeting.
Went to New York town,
meeting-
very quickly settled down, soon
those
became the toast of the Great White Way.
Yeah, they loved him. Went
All the
down.
old queens blew a fuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. He was out late one night,
Yeah.
and he's walking home,
Yeah.
and gets attacked, gets killed,
Yeah.
and he's lying in the
They
gutter.
didn't intend to take his life. They just pushed their luck a little too far that night. Yeah. You see.
So.
Yeah.
But what's good there? Is it good that he had a bit of a good life, and was able to be himself,
Yeah.
or should he have stayed in Scotland?
He didn't come from Scotland. Again, I really.
Well, I think, is there any way we can get this song before the end of the show and play it? Because I've heard it recently. A lot of people listening will have never heard this song. They won't have any idea.
Can I say what you said when we were talking about that song once before?
Is it bad?
It might be, because we were talking about Georgie Boy and he got it. I don't know.
What?
It's when you said
Well, it's a fact. I don't think if
what he said. So it's for King Georgie. He gets out, dies, right? He goes, well, they do go out late.
I know
Gay people
I
go
know
out
a few
late.
gay people, and they start to party late on. That's
Yeah.
what in Soho, right?
Yeah.
Girlfriend got in a cab, right? Suzanne was in a cab, and the cab driver was taking her to an early start, right? She works at the BBC.
Yeah.
Early start, 4 in the morning. It was going down. It was mental in Soho at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
They were all still like starting the night out.
How do you know
Whereas-
how do you know they're gay?
It's Soho, isn't it?
Fair enough. Play a track. I'd love to be able to try and dig this out.
Yeah, we will. This is Simon and Garfunkel, The Only Living Boy in New York. It's lovely. Only Living Boy in New York. Do you like that?
It's got a nice feel to it.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Lovely.
My New Year's resolution is to be nicer to you, but
Well
talk
done, you've
sense.
already broken that.
No, but talk sense. Talk sense. You've had 3 holidays this year, and I'm just saying, you're in your 30s now, and 30s is when you should be really putting the work in.
That's true enough.
To reap the benefits in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100.
Carl, what's your New Year resolution? What about think before you speak? It's worth. I mean,
See, I'm
consider it.
allowed to laugh. I'm allowed to laugh at things other people say, Carl. That one, that is a good suggestion. How was your holiday, Carl?
It was alright.
Right, brilliant.
But that I don't see on the kind of on the ratio of good to bad in Carl's mind. That might be amazing because we never
It might be
hear
amazing,
singing
mightn't
the praises
it?
of anything.
I'll tell you what, can we have, a cracking little tune, and then come back and hear about Carl's holiday?
I'd love to do that.
Let's keep it tight.
I can't believe. See, you're like
But
me.
people always say, why'd you get so angry? Your New Year's resolution should be calm down, chill out, you know. But how can you chill out when this stuff's going
What's
on?
your New Year's resolution,
Well, no, just
Carl?
with that though. I mean, surely people are allowed to, like, have a chat if a film's got subtitles. Why? Because you can read it. It doesn't matter about the noise.
That is the most stupid thing I have ever heard in my life.
No, I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
that
I'm not-
really is the most stupid thing I've ever. So go along with your iPod on.
Yeah, take a ghetto blaster.
Oh, yeah, you could if you can multitask. I mean, that would do my head in, having music, and I don't know what to sort of concentrate on. But if you, it's only like reading a book when you're on a train, innit? You've got noise around you.
What? What are you talking about? These films cost millions of dollars. Everything's perfect.
The
And they-
music, the sound effects.
the whole montage, this mixed and someone comes along and goes, oh, I might as well talk to Gavin on my phone. Well, I was reading it anyway. You're an idiot. You're an idiot, Carl. I think your New Year's resolution should be less stupid.
No, I'm doing. I'm going to try and learn something new every day through 2006.
What have you learned today?
Well, I did a lot yesterday, so I'm having a day off today. but no, you know, just well, I did, didn't I? I did the Bible stuff and that. So I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, we've got that coming up.
What's your
Carl's
New Year's
sermon.
resolution? To be less annoyed.
I suppose I should be more tolerant of
And
others.
do you know what Ricky said his is going to be?
What?
It's going to be more annoying.
Yeah, well, I just thought.
But this is a wonderful hypocrisy of it, because you've just been agreeing with me about how you hate people who are annoying.
Yeah, but only to friends. People like. The thing is, right. I've got to say a couple of things, right. The reason I sort of torture Carl is because I don't know. I've got friends with defects. I don't know why. All my friends are slightly weird or stupid or something wrong with them. Carl's little round head. The brain of a fish. Right?
Yes.
I can't get my hands off his head. Robin Ince, he's got glasses. He waddles funny. He's got little thumbs. His thumbs are too short. Right.
Sure.
I can't keep my hands off him. Right. My mate Rob, who did flannels with me, he's got a perfectly round head. His teeth protrude slightly.
He's in America though for when you need a round bald head, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
case
When I go to New York, or and he looks a bit like Dave Hill from
Interesting
Slade.
that you're collaborating on a book, but he chooses to live in America.
No, yeah, but could I just say also that I do not advocate the use of vices on friends' heads. It's dangerous. Do not squeeze your mate's head in a vice. That's just between me and Carl, and and
Because Gervais is an experienced annoyer.
and he probably wouldn't let me do it, to be honest. I have to offer him an awful lot of money. Also, do not smoke. There's no point. And floss. I wish I'd flossed when I was a kid. Also, if you've got a bicycle or anything like that for Christmas, please wear the correct safety gear.
Whoa.
What?
Well, I got a bike as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? And my dad, I think the helmets used to come with them and what have you. I popped it on, went out on my bike, coming back into the garden. Dad sees me. He said, "Come here." I said, "What?" He said, "I never want to see you wearing that helmet again. You look ridiculous."
Oh, wow.
He'd rather take the risk.
No one looks good in them though, do they?
Yes, they do. Wear the helmet.
Carl, you said that your New Year's resolution was that you were going to learn something every day.
Yeah,
Have you learned anything today?
if I can. Today, I don't know the full facts of it, but
Could I just say that when someone says they learn something new every day, that doesn't count if they forget it the next day.
no,
Because that'd be Groundhog Day learning.
well, the thing I learnt today was about an octopus.
Oh,
Go on.
What they can do is, they've got 8 legs and that.
Yeah.
They can use 6 of them legs to cover their head, so they look like a little stone. And use the other 2 to run off. Right? But that's
He's thinking of Squiddly Diddly.
Yeah, it's a Disney image in his head, isn't
He's
it?
thinking
They're
of
pink.
but anyway, that's
So
that's
it's
not the
Pink
main
singing
thing.
a song in your mind and running off, yeah.
No, but anyway, but something else I learnt, right? It's mainly about animals and that, because that's
Yeah.
normally quite interesting.
Yeah.
There's a chicken somewhere,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and
Specific.
and the owner of it was getting fed up because he had to feed it and that, but it wasn't.
Embellishment.
It
Guesswork.
No, go on, let's hear it.
It wasn't giving anything back.
No eggs.
No eggs, right? So he was like, "Oh, I'm sick of this." Anyway, someone told him, pop a little axe next to its little house, right? So when it comes out in the morning thinking, "Oh, I'll have another lazy day doing nothing," right? He saw this axe, and suddenly it was like, "Oh, right."
I'm for the
Next day,
chocolate thought, yeah.
it laid about 6 eggs.
It's rubbish.
Through
Squeeze them
worry.
out.
It's
super
rubbish.
quick.
The chicken wouldn't recognise an axe as a threat. It wouldn't be able to reason that, I better start working, or I'll be meat. I better start. It's absolute rubbish. Once again, it's this ridiculous thing you got that one personifying animals to reasoning powers better than yours. I mean, I think, you make chickens and monkeys cleverer than you in your stories, which is weird, okay? It didn't happen and wouldn't work. Next! What else haven't you learnt today?
No, well, as always, things like that always get me thinking.
What
right?
else haven't you learnt today,
No, hang on,
Carl?
he's got his mind's working now. This
Go
apparently
on.
has got his
Yeah,
mind
so that's
working.
rubbish.
Well, do you think then that it's worth looking after animals then if there isn't any memory? If they don't know what's happening anyway, you're always going on about don't be cruel to things.
Yeah, why would you be cruel? There's one thing about imagining chickens can reason, and because they can't, being cruel to them. Why does it matter whether an animal can reason or not for you not to be cruel to it? The reason I don't like blood sports isn't the fact that there's a fox missing. It's the psychology of the people that get off on seeing an animal ripped to pieces. They wouldn't like it if it was a robot. They wouldn't care. For some reason, in their psychology, they like this sport. Why does it have to be a sport? They're not culling. They're not putting things down for a good. They like to see this fox ripped apart or a bull tortured for their own pleasure. That's why it shouldn't do. Why would you ever want to be cruel to an animal, whether it can reason or not?
No. I mean, I don't mean really cruel, but I mean like there's an advert on that's on in the in Britain advertising some supermarket, right? And it's saying, you know, we look at, before, you know, we kill our chickens and what have you, they have a great life. This is like the voiceover and you see Happy Chicken.
Yeah.
And it's going, we give it a good little house to live in. It's got straw.
Yeah.
It eats good.
Yeah.
And then we kill it. Right?
Yes, but that's better, isn't it?
Well, no, I don't think it is, though, is it? Because at the end of the day, if I was that chicken, right, I'm that chicken, loving my life. I can't believe me luck, right?
Well, we'd be pleased because at least he'd be able to do the show and we'd have some interesting conversations.
Yeah.
So there it is, right, wandering about. It's got its nice little field that it's working on.
Yeah.
It's got its nice food and everything. But it's going to die.
Yeah, we're all gonna die.
But then, if you were like a rubbish chicken, that had like a rubbish life, you'd be going, oh, kill me.
Carl, they're not thinking what's gonna happen tomorrow.
They don't know that they're gonna get for the chop, are they?
A chicken's not going, I'm fed up with this. I can't wait for that axe to be used on my neck.
Yeah. Well, that's another now you've mentioned the cutting off of an head, right?
Yeah.
On the chicken. That's something else I've learned, right?
It's like a pinball is mine.
Amazing.
Isn't it? Ding dong, bong, dang, ding, ding, da, da. Oh, head, ding, ding, chicken, head off, bing.